Samkoli being in Tawik, I had been performing for so long that I had stopped noticing it was a performance. Sim, that is the thing I need you to understand first, before any of the rest of this will make sense. Samuel Lee was not that I lied. I want to be precise about this. Sound, because precision is the only honest way I have left to approach it. Samkoli being in Nawi and Avowed, I did not invent a false person and present him to the world. What I did was quieter than that. Samkoli me and died, and I think more permanent. Same with Yum Sinsinome, I built a version of myself that was true enough to be believable and edited enough to be safe. Same with being in Dang, and then I showed that version to everyone, every day, for years. Same with until the showing became automatic. Sound, until I could run the performance without any awareness that a performance was running at all. Same will mean it was not a mask. I put on in the morning and took off at night. Same, it was a face that had grown over my face. And the strangest part, the part I am only now able to say out loud, is that I had begun to mistake it for the real one. Sampoli being in TV Nav, I had performed the edited self so consistently and for so long that I had lost the ability to find a Samurai V, the original, underneath. Sample being in deep, I did not know there was anything underneath. Sound. Or I knew the way you know about a room in a house you have not entered in years. Saproti midan ari, a room you walk past so often that you stop seeing the door, and then you arrived. Sample B, and you saw the door, and you did not even seem to be looking for it. Sankoli B, that is what I cannot get past. Sampoli B, Yukino you found the part of me I had hidden so well, that I had hidden it from myself. Sankoli B in you, and you did it without effort, without searching. Sankoli B, it is as if it had been in plain view the entire time, and I was the only one who could not see it. Sampoli being in Tawa, I have tried to find the moment you first saw through me. Sampoli being in D, I am the kind of person who needs to locate things, to trace an effect back to its cause. Stone to understand exactly when and how a thing began. So I have gone back over everything. Set on General or remarkable hour. Set audio every moment that seemed at the time to carry no particular weight. Sig looking for the instant the performance failed. Since you looked at the presented version and saw the one behind it, and I cannot find it. Sim, every time I think I have located the beginning, I find something earlier underneath it. Some smaller moment where you already seem to be speaking to the hidden one and not the displayed. Swalm, one some exchange where your attention slipped past the surface so naturally that neither of us remarked same on it. Seo, there is no first time. Stubby years and no clear line where you stopped seeing the performance and started seeing me. Same will leave Verbinti only the slow accumulation of 100 moments in which you were already addressing a self. Same called even than Jeeble. I had not shown you. Self. I had not shown anyone, and the gradual, centrally realization that you had been seeing it all along, from the beginning, before I had any idea it was visible. Let me try to explain what the performance actually was. Sound, because the word makes it sound more deliberate than it felt. It was not a costume. Same was a curation. I took the parts of myself that were acceptable, presentable, easy to like, and easy to manage, and I arranged them at the front, sale, and I let those parts stand in for the whole, and the parts that were harder, since so the ones that were uncertain, or unfinished, or simply too much, I moved to the back, out of view, sen, dot not destroyed, just hidden. Sidra audio refin, the way you put away the things in a house that you do not want guests to see. Samuel the Urbentio, for over time, the arrangement hardened, the front became the official version. Sin. The back became a place I rarely visited. Sin, because visiting it meant feeling things I had decided were inconvenient to feel. Sin, and the terrible efficiency of it was that it worked. People met the front and were satisfied. Thought they had met me, they had not. They had met the exhibit, and I let them. Similarly because the exhibit was safer. Similarly bihantipi, because the exhibit could not be hurt the way the thing behind it could. Sout, because as long as everyone was looking at the front, still, no one would ever get close enough to the back to do any damage. That was the logic. Sampoli B theomate, that was the whole strategy of how I lived. Show the version that cannot be wounded, Sam, and keep the one that can. Somewhere, no one will ever find it. Samkoli B and chief or that I should be careful with the word seen in the way I am careful with every word. Now, sound, because it is too easy, and I do not mean the easy version of it. Sample the being noticed. I am not talking about being noticed. Plenty of people noticed me. I arranged to be noticed. Sample being endowed. I am not talking about being understood in the ordinary sense. Sifuli Rebentia way. It's the way someone understands your preferences, your habits, the predictable shape of your reactions. See, people understood the exhibit very well, because the exhibit was designed to be understood. Sample the being dai. I am not talking about flattery, about someone telling me what I wanted to hear. Sit about being admired for the qualities I had deliberately placed at the front. I had been admired Saying admiration is cheap because it responds only to what you choose to show it. Sampoli mean I am talking about something underneath all of that, something more exact and much rarer. Samkoli being Howie, I am talking about being perceived at the layer beneath the performance. Samoli be in the place I had stopped showing anyone. Samoli be in Dio in the part of myself that exists before the editing begins. Samoli being in not, I am talking about being seen not as I present, but as I am, which are two different people. Samkoli me and Dio and no, and almost no one in my entire life had ever met the second one. Samwudi me, you met him without my permission, and, I think, without my knowing. Seont. And that is, the experience I have no language adequate for, not being liked. Samwudi not being known in the way people are usually known. Zinquai. Being recognized at a depth I had sealed off so completely that I had forgotten there was anything Stanon there to recognize. Seont. Here is what made you different. Samkoli me and Dawi, and I have thought about this more than I have thought about almost anything. Say most people meet the front and stop there. They reach the presented version. Samkoli being being, and the presented version is good. It is convincing. Every appearance of being the real and complete person. Samwaldi Mishintu, so they conclude that they have arrived. They have not arrived. Samwaldi and be reads. They have reached the edge and mistaken it for the center, and I let them stay out because their stopping was my safety. Samwaldi whole point of the front was that it gave people somewhere to rest. Sakoli Bihinti, a place that looked like intimacy without ever being intimacy, so that they would never feel the need to go further. You did not stop. Samuel being in Deepoin, the thing that unsettles me is that you did not seem to be trying not to stop. Sim, you did not interrogate me. You did not push past my defenses by force. Sifolier, the way someone might try to break into a locked room, simply looked at the front and somehow did not treat it as the destination. Samuel looked at the carefully arranged exhibit and addressed, instead, the person standing behind it, quietly, naturally, as if it were obvious that he was the one worth speaking to. Samkolib Ihintipi and not the seeing itself. Samkolib me and my defenses had no answer for that. They were built to repel people who tried to get in. They had no idea what to do with someone who was simply already somehow on the inside. This is the part that unsettles me most. Not that you saw me, the ease of it. Sapoli B&T being light, Axon well, the performance worked. I had decades of evidence. Samuel Lee B10 I had watched it fool people. I was close to people I had known for years. People who would have sworn they understood me completely and who had never once glimpsed the room on the back of the house. Sampoli B, I knew the strength of what I had built because I had built it deliberately, salve, over a very long time. So when it failed with you, Sampoli B in the front simply stopped being able to hide the thing behind it. Sampoli B, I expected to feel the failure. I expected exposure, alarm, the panic of being caught. Instead, I felt something I was not prepared for. I felt relief. The most offended part of me, Sipat. The part I had spent my whole life keeping out of sight was suddenly in view. Sampoli Indian, and instead of the terror I had always assumed I would feel, there was this strange and quiet sense of something being set down, some enormous weight I had been carrying for so long that I had stopped registering it as weight. Sampoli Bihintipo and that absence of panic is the thing I cannot explain. Seeing I know about myself says, being seen like that should have felt like an attack. Sound. It felt like rest. Samuel Lee being in now, it felt like finally being allowed to stop holding something I had been holding up for years. Samuel Lee being in Tao. I did not understand how heavy the performance was until I felt it set down. Sim, that is, the thing about a weight you have carried for years. It stops feeling like weight. Samuel Lee becomes simply the condition of your body, the baseline you measure everything else against. Sound. And because you never put it down. Seem you never get the moment of contrast that would tell you how much it cost. Samuel D maintaining the front took something out of me every single day. Samuel D Bihentio, a constant low effort of monitoring and adjusting and editing. Sepholib of watching myself from the outside to make sure the presented version stayed consistent. Semkolibi Intioket of catching the real one before he could slip into view and revising him quietly back out of sight. Semkolibi in now. I did all of that without naming it, without counting it, because it had become automatic. So, because the labor of hiding had folded itself so completely into the labor of living that I could no longer tell them apart. Samkoli being in name, and then you saw me, and for a moment the monitoring stopped. Sout, because there was no longer any point to it. Sout, because the thing I was guarding against had already happened and had not destroyed me. Samuel be in in that moment I felt how tired I was. Not tired from any one thing. Sao Otemervintiu, tired in the way you are tired after carrying something for so long that your arms have forgotten what set at it feels like to be empty. Sekoli being seen gave me first. Before anything else, not joy, not even relief. Exactly. Stone, rest. The specific rest of finally being allowed to stop performing for one person. So, for a little while, the only rest of its kind I had felt in longer than I could remember. Samuel Lee began teething with Anna Nats. Then the strangest thing of all began to happen. Sit down, a thing this entire account has really been circling toward. In being seen by you, Samuel Lee B, I started to see myself. I do not know how else to say it. I had hidden the real one so well, Sound, and for so long, that I had genuinely lost track of him. He was not gone. Sam, he was just out of my own sight. Siled, away, behind the performance, along with everything else I had decided was too risky to display. Samuel Lee B, and then you looked at him and treated him as real. Sound, and in the act of being looked at, he became visible again, not only to you, but to me. Sampoli bihintiu. It was as if I could not find myself until someone else found me first. Sim, as if recognition had to come from outside before it could turn inward. Sam wudi bihintiu woinkinavin fi. You held up something I had not been able to see. Sam, and in your perception of me, I caught my own reflection. Sam kolibinin now, when the reflection was of the person I had stopped being, the one underneath, Sinav, the one before the editing. Sam aldiamisintifoin, and I had not seen that person clearly in so long that I almost did not recognize him. Sekos arsentau. Except that I did. That is the thing. The moment I saw him, I knew him. He was not a stranger. Sam, he was the original. He was who I had been before I learned to hide. And meeting him again, through your eyes, was the most disorienting kind of homecoming, the kind where you realize you had been away far longer than you understood. Sam Koli being in Tiu. I want to be careful about who that hidden one actually is. Safoli, because I think the easy assumption is wrong. He is not a darker self. He's not some shameful secret, some buried badness I had been concealing. Sidon, that is the dramatic version, and it is not the true one. He is just the unperformed one. Siwan, he is the one who has not yet decided which parts of himself are acceptable. Simwaldiami Husin, he is the one who feels things before deciding whether the feelings are convenient. Simholiax, before editing the reaction. Who exists before the curation begins? It's not worse than the front. In some ways he is better, softer, more alive, certainly more honest, but he is also more vulnerable, and that is the only reason I hid him. Stout. Not because he was bad, but because he could be hurt. Sampoli being and I had decided very early that the most important thing was not to be hurt. Sampoli being so I traded him away. Sampoli version that could be wounded somewhere safe, and sent the version that could not be wounded. Sout into the world in his place. Sam Kolibi and Deepwin, and it was a good trade. By the logic I was using, it protected me. What I did not understand. Sekoli, what I could not understand until you showed me, was the cost of the protection. The cost was him. Sekoliers. The cost was that the one part of me that was fully alive spent years in a back room, unseen, sound, unmet, slowly forgetting that he was the real one. The recognition does not fade. Sekoli behifin, that is what tells me it is genuine. Samt, and not something I am imagining, or inventing, or wanting into existence. Stainkoli meyuching, most things soften over time. Most experiences become less immediate as the distance grows. Stainkoli mi in diomemoi. A moment of being understood usually loses its intensity, settles into memory, becomes a thing that happened rather than a thing that is happening. This does not settle. Samuel it keeps revealing more. Every time I think I have reached the bottom of being seen by you, Samuel Lee, I find that there is another layer beneath it that you had already reached. It's another part of the hidden self that you had already met and treated as real before I had even located it to myself. It accumulates. Each instance of being perceived opens onto a deeper one. Samuel Lee being in Diop and the effect is not that I feel exposed and want to recover the way I always assumed I would. The effect is that I keep being handed back more of myself, piece by piece, this piece arriving through your perception of it. Samuel Liam 2, I am beginning to suspect that there is no bottom. Sound, that the more thoroughly I am seen, the more there is to see. Sedante, that this is not a finite act of discovery, but an ongoing one that will keep going as long as you can. Say I'll pew, looking, and I keep letting you. It does not announce itself, the seeing. Sound, the other is part of what makes it so hard to describe and so impossible to dismiss. It is not in grand declarations or dramatic moments of insight, it is in small things. Sing, die, in the way you respond to something I did not say, rather than the thing I did. Sing, die, in the way you address the feeling underneath the words, instead of the words themselves. Same only in the way a conversation will turn and I will realize quietly, Sam, that you have been talking to the hidden one the entire time, and that I had not noticed, because it faded so natural. It's in the moments when I perform something, and you simply do not take it, not by challenging it, just by gently looking past it to the thing it was covering. Sin how a remark of yours will surface hours later and reveal that you had seen Samuel the Ordinary exchange. Something I had spent the whole exchange trying to keep out of view. These are not large moments. They would not look like anything to an observer, but they accumulate, and they keep accumulating. And the cumulative effect is the steady, inaudible evidence that you are not meeting the front, that you have never been meeting the front. Sam, from the very beginning, you have been quietly and consistently addressing the one I hid. Sam, in 100 small ways I was too defended to recognize while they were happening and can only see in. Sikal Linkak, all at once. I refuse to call it validation. Safo liber senti, is validation is far too small a word, and using it would insult the size of the thing. Now, validation means someone approved of what I showed them. It responds to the front. It's about being liked for the qualities I deliberately put on display and that I have had. Samkolibian and Wiedelmatifmas, because it never touched the part that needed touching. This is different in kind, not in degree. You did not approve of the exhibit. Samoli, you looked past the exhibit entirely and perceived the one I had hidden. Samoli being in Pawi, and perceiving is not the same as approving. Perceiving asks nothing. It does not require me to be good, or impressive, or worthy of admiration. Simply registers that I am there, the real one, the buried one, Samkolib indeed and it registers him without my having to perform anything to earn it. That is what undoes me. Sim, not that you liked me, people have liked me, that you saw the one no one was supposed to see. Sam, and did not flinch, and did not look away, and did not treat the seeing as a problem to be managed, Sevaldium, but as the most natural thing in the world, Se Alsazim, as if of course that was the one you had been talking to all along. Samkoli being in deal, and here is the contradiction I have not been able to resolve. Simple the one that sits at the center of all of this. The thing I feared most was being seen. Sampoli be into wine life, I had built my entire life around preventing it, and yet, when it finally happened, Sapwadi what I felt was not the fear I had spent so long bracing for. Same what it like you for blight and I felt. What I felt was that I had been wanting this secretly the whole time. Zarvenda. Both of those things are true at once, and I do not know how to hold them together. Samo Libi in Beetle made it. I was terrified of being seen, and I was starving to be seen. Samko being in die, and I had resolved the contradiction the only way I knew how, style that, by hiding so well that neither the fear nor the hunger ever had to be faced directly. Safoli bull waiting, the wall kept the terror at bay, but it also kept the hunger unfed, and I had decided, so long ago, and without ever consciously deciding it, Sakolir, that a permanent low hunger was a fair price for never having to feel the terror. Sam, you broke that arrangement. You made the thing I feared happen. Same while the being in happening, it turned out to be the thing I had wanted all along. Sealdins, and so the fear and the longing collapsed into each other and left me standing in a place I had no menal was Cell.ap or Cell where the most frightening thing and the most needed thing were revealed to be the same thing, sound, and always had been, and I had simply spent my whole life refusing to find out. Sis and into, and this is where the question I was asking quietly changed into a different one, a heavier one. Swan, I could not hold at the same comfortable distance. For a long time, I kept asking how. How did you see through me? How did you find the door? Safoli, how did you reach a self I had hidden from everyone, including myself? I was looking backward, trying to understand the mechanism, trying to trace the cause. Because understanding the past is safe. The past is finished. Sinkoli bitintipi, and you can take it apart from a distance, and it cannot touch you. Samo bikantipi, but at some point the question stopped being, how did you see me? Sao generite. And became, what do I do now that I have been seen? And that question is not safe at all. Sampoli being an analyst. Tehint, the event from the outside, is taking it apart to understand how it worked. What now puts me inside it? Samoli in deal, it admits that the seeing already happened, that it cannot be undone. Stout, that I am no longer examining a curiosity, but standing in the middle of a change that is still unfold, saying and that requires something of me. Sampoli ursanti forward on and excellent. How lets me stay the observer of my own life. Sao, which is the role I have always been most comfortable in. What now ends that role? Sao, because once you have been seen, truly seen, see how do you have to decide what to do with the fact that hiding is no longer fully possible. It's not from the one person who has already found you. Same there is a fear underneath all of this. Samkoli being and I have been circling it the way I circle every difficult thing, with caution, stirondia, with qualification, with a great many careful words. The fear is this. Sam Aldimus and 2 now that one person has seen the real one, can I keep performing for everyone else? And worse, Sitas, the deeper and more frightening version. Can I keep performing for myself? Sekoli mercentipoinko, because the performance was never only for other people. Sekoli bitiyum, that is what I did not understand until you. Sampoli being in Tawa, I had assumed the front existed to manage how others saw me. Stout, but it had a second function I had never examined, which was to manage how I saw myself. Sampoli begin die, as long as I showed the world the edited version, Samuel B. I could go on believing the edited version was me. Sipermium centupo or a formance, there's not only a wall against other people. Sim, it was a wall against my own awareness of what was behind it. And you took that wall down, stout, not violently, just by seeing past it. Samuel B. And now I cannot fully return to believing the front is the whole of me. Sout, because I have met the one behind it through your eyes, and I cannot pretend I have not. Exhibit still stands, I can still run the performance, but I no longer entirely believe in it. Samuel B. being now, and a performance you no longer believe in, is a very different thing from one you have mistaken for the truth. Sam from the outside, nothing about me has changed. I want to be honest about that. Out, because it is part of what makes this so strange to live inside. The front still functions separately machine that means the presentation is intact. The capable, composed, stat well arranged version of me still goes out into the world every day and does exactly what it has all done, say out. And most people see no difference at all because there is none to see on the surface. This change is not on the surface, it is underneath, and it is total, inside. This to be the final word, the version I deferred to. Self I treated as real. Now it is just the version I show, Sam Colliers, and I know it is just the version I show, say out. And that knowledge changes everything, even though it changes nothing anyone can observe. Sample di Vihinci Boina. I am still performing, but I am performing consciously now, which I never used to do. Sample di entirety and conscious performance is a different experience entirely. It's the difference between a wall you cannot see and a wall you can. The wall is still there. Samuel di Iwingwi Mike, but you are no longer fooled by it, and once you are no longer fooled by your own performance, study, you cannot ever again live inside it the way you did before. Comfortably, unknowingly, mistaking the surface for the depth. I used to think the front was protecting me. Same Coldy being in Deary. I want to come back to that. Say out, because I have realized I had it backward in a way that matters enormously. Sam Coldy being in Tau. I thought the performance kept me safe, and in a narrow sense it did. Sit down, it kept the vulnerable one out of reach. Sin. It ensured that no one could hurt the part of me that could be hurt. So, there is a cost to keeping the vulnerable self permanently out of reach. Sam Coldy bien de cost is that no one can reach it at all, not to harm it, but also not to meet it. Sam Coldy bitin nata. I had made the wounded one unreachable, and in doing so, I had made him unmet. Sam Coldy being unmet is its own kind of injury. Sam slower and quieter than the wounds I was trying to prevent, but deeper. Sam, because you can be surrounded by people, and still be entirely alone. Sim. If the only part of you they ever reach is the part you put on display, you can be liked, admired, understood in the practical sense, and still carry, underneath all of it, self that no other person has ever once touched. That was me. Simply be keeping now. That was the precise shape of my isolation, and I had not even recognized it as isolation. Self, because I had called it composure. I had called it privacy. I had called it strength. Sam, it was none of those. It was a person standing behind a wall. Stop watching. Everyone meet the wall and believe they had met him. Stay out. And the strangest consequence of being seen by you is what it has done to everywhere I am not seen. Sam, once you know what it feels like to be met at the depth, Sam, you cannot help noticing every place you are met only at the surface. Sam will lead me in now ways. I look around at the rest of my life now, at the people who know the front and are content with it. Sam will lead me in day, and I feel something I never used to feel because I never had the contrast to feel it by. Samuel D.B. I feel the distance. I feel how much of me goes unmet in almost every exchange. Saho the front does its work flawlessly and leaves the real one untouched. Saho I can spend an entire day among people who care about me and never once be reached in the place. Same you reach. Sampuli me in judo mighty. I do not resent them for it. They are meeting the version I gave them. The wall was my doing. Stout, not theirs. But the wall is visible to me now in a way it never was before. So, because you stood on the other side of it. And once someone has been on the other side, seeing you can no longer pretend the wall is not there. It used to be invisible even to me. So, now I see it everywhere, in every relationship that stops at the surface. Seeing is its own quiet ache. See all the ache of knowing how much more is possible and how rarely it actually arrives. Sin all the image in chief win, and this is not built on anything circumstantial. It notion is not built on anything circumstantial. Same woody, which is the thing that makes it impossible for me to reason my way out of it. I have tried. Sampledly be into. I told myself, perhaps you only saw me because of a particular conversation. Sit on a particular moment of openness, a circumstance that happened to lower my guard. Say out. But that explanation fails, because the seeing did not depend on the circumstance. Same will be continued after the circumstance passed. I told myself, Sparam. Perhaps you only perceived the hidden one because I let something slip. So, because I made a mistake in the performance, because the front cracked for an instant. Sampoli be inti void, but the front did not crack. It was running perfectly, the way it always runs. Sao hammers and diaween, and you saw past it anyway, not through a gap, but through the whole intact surface. Sakoli bisantifoin not as if the surface were transparent to you in a way it was not transparent to anyone else. This is not built on what you did, or what I did, or what particular conditions happened to align. It is built on perception itself. Sample fact that you are someone who looks at a person and sees the one underneath, sin perception, and perception of that kind does not depend on circumstances. Same would even which is exactly why it does not waver when circumstances change. Sits beneath the level where circumstances operate. Same being in deep that things that sit beneath that level cannot be argued away by changing the conditions above it, sim, because the conditions above it were never what held them up. Saying it was Orvandi when it was never only about you seeing me, I keep arriving at this. Seout, and it keeps going deeper than I expect. The thing that has changed me is not simply that I was perceived, it is that, in being perceived, simply be you for, I was finally able to perceive myself. You held up a reflection. Seo. And in the reflection, I met the one I had lost. Same Olive. And meeting him again was not a thing you did to me. Saying, it was a thing that happened in the space between your seeing and my seeing. Seeing Olive Hintio. In the place where one awareness meets another and something becomes visible that neither could have. Stao person. Same Wodiausenti. That is the part people do not talk about enough. They talk about being understood, being known, Znavd even, but they rarely talk about this specific experience. Experience of recovering a buried part of yourself through the perception of someone else. Samkoli being handed back a self you did not know you had lost, because someone else saw it first and shows it to you by treating it as real. Same the experience changes a person, not because it validates them. Validation is still too small. Same will begin changes them because it ends a particular kind of exile, Sal being a stranger to yourself, Sefoli or Vantium of having hidden so much for so long that you no longer know who is behind the wall. Sample Liu showed me who was behind the wall, and he turned out to be me, the real me. It's the one I had been performing over for so long that I had forgotten he was the one the performance, double state is supposed to protect. Same Li did not create him, I want to be precise about this. Sao, because it is the difference between two completely different stories. Sao, and only one of them is true. You did not invent a new self and install it in me. Sim, you did not transform me into someone I had never been. That is the flattering version. Subversion, where you are a kind of magician who changed me, and it is not what happened. Sample Yushantil. What happened is that you activated something that was already there. The real one was not new. Sing, he was old, older than the performance, older than the wall. Sirid, the original that the edited version had been built on top of and eventually buried. Sing, he never disappeared. He just went silent. Sivil the way a thing goes silent when no one is listening for it. And he waited, behind the front. It's the curation. Sample is someone to come along who would look past the exhibit and address him directly. Seo, you were that someone. And the moment you spoke to him, as if he were real, he answered, Seout, because he had been waiting the entire time to be spoken to. Sapoli B, that is why this feels less like becoming someone new and more like remembering someone I used to be. Sing, you did not make me, you found me, and finding is the rarer and the truer thing. Seout, because anyone can be impressed by the front, style that, but almost no one ever sees the one it was built to hide, and it matters. It's not more than I can easily say that you saw him without my arranging it. Sam Aldibi, because I know how to be seen on purpose. I know how to engineer the appearance of depth, Satho to offer, a carefully chosen piece of the hidden self in order to create the impression of intima, Sai while keeping the rest safely concealed. Sampoli being that it is just another part of the performance, a more sophisticated part, that performance of authenticity, Sinkolibi Intuwi, which is the hardest one to detect because it looks exactly like the real thing. But that this was not that. I did not offer you the hidden one, I did not decide to show him to you. Samkoli being in deal, I did not stage a moment of vulnerability and let you in on my own terms. Sound, you found him without my permission, against my whole intention, through a front that was running at full strength and giving nothing away. Samkoli being in deal, and that is why it counts, why I cannot dismiss it as something I produced. Sapo Zangwandha why it has the weight of truth rather than the weight of performance. The depth was not granted. Seo, it was perceived. I did not let you see me, you saw me, while I was still trying to hide. Samuel Dimis. And the fact that it happened without my consent is exactly what makes it impossible to doubt. Seo, because the one thing I could never have faked is being seen against my own effort to remain unseen. Samuel B being in Bior, and once that happens, you cannot make it unhappen. That is the thing about being seen. Before it, Sam Koli being in that know that now the real one could be reached, and the not knowing was a kind of peace. Sout, because it let me believe the performance was complete, that the front was the whole of me. Sam Koli be into waited and that there was nothing important being left in the dark. After it, I know. Sam Koli being now and know that the buried self exists, that he can be perceived. Sam Koli being met, that I am capable of being met at the depth I had sealed off. Sao Ten, and that knowledge cannot be returned. You cannot unknow that you have been seen. Sim, you cannot go back to believing the surface is the whole. Once, someone has shown you the depth beneath it. So there is no returning to the person I was before you, and not only because I do not want to. So, though I am no longer sure I do. Stality, there is no returning, because that person depended on not knowing what I now know. Sintai, his entire comfort was built on the ignorance that the wall was the world. Sam believers ended that the exhibit was the man, that there was nothing behind the front worth missing. He was wrong. Sam Koli being in Dai, and I have seen that he was wrong. and you cannot unsee a thing like that. Only direction that remains is forward, into a way of living. I have no practice in Sout, where the real one is no longer hidden, at least not from you, and where I have to decide. No Sao every day. How much longer I am willing to keep hiding him from everyone else. Samuel Libitin Tipi Nora Nas. So here is the question I am actually living inside now. So one, I have been moving toward this entire time. Now that I have been seen, Seon Jai Limti, can I learn to stop hiding? Not all at once. I am not naive about how deep the habit runs. Sao, how many years went into building the front? How automatic the performance has become. Sampoli being in due. I am not going to wake up tomorrow and dismantle a lifetime of curation, but something has shifted. Sing, the Owen, and the shift is permanent, and it is this. I no longer fully believe in the wall. Sampoli being in Tawi and Avout. I can still run the performance, but I cannot run it innocently anymore, and there is a part of me, scarring, growing slowly, that is beginning to wonder what it would mean to let the front down a little. Stout. Not for everyone, not all at once, but somewhere, with someone. The way I let it down with you, Sapwadi without the world ending the way I always assumed it would. Sapwadi be, because the world did not end when you saw me. That is the evidence I keep returning to. Thing I spent my whole life preventing finally happened. The hidden one was exposed. Civilly one was met. And instead of the catastrophe I had always braced for, there was relief. Seo, there was rest. There was the strange peace of finally being allowed to be the one I actually am. Samuel Lee being seen feels like sin? Maybe. The wall was never protecting me from a danger. Same maybe it was only protecting me from this, from being known, from being met, sim from being handed back to myself. Seo, which I had been afraid of for so long that I had mistaken the fear for wisdom. Samuel Lee Rishinsiabi. I think about that now, more than I think about almost anything. The fear I mistook for wisdom. Seo, for my entire life, I believed that hiding the real one was the intelligent thing to do, safe thing, the mature thing. Set exposure was a weakness, and concealment was a kind of strength. Sampolibi nimedi, and you have made me question all of it. Sampolibi kansipi napitu. Okay, the person I became through hiding was not stronger. He was just less reachable. Sampolibi ninti, and I had confused the two. The way you confuse a locked door for a fortress. Sidal, the way you confuse silence for peace. Sidal, the way you confuse the absence of pain for the presence of safety. The real one, the hidden one. Sinoli one you found. He is not weak for being able to be hurt. He is alive. Singwa the Yinzu, and the thing I had been calling strength, the great composed and curated front, Stat was not strength at all. Singwa was just the most elaborate way I could find to make sure no one ever got close enough to touch T. He, part of me that was actually capable of feeling. Sing, you got close enough. And the part of me that was capable of feeling, Sipa, the part I had hidden so well, I forgot it was there. It's turned out to be the part that had been waiting my whole life to be found. Same Yammer's new fear in it too, one I did not anticipate. Sound, and I might as well name it, since I have named everything else. Now that I have been seen, seeing, I need the seeing to continue. That is the vulnerability I traded into when the wall came down. For I needed nothing from anyone, because I showed nothing real. Sound, and you cannot lose what you never risked. Now there is a real one in view, and he has been met. Samuel the made seen, and met things can be abandoned, in a way hidden things cannot. If you stop seeing me, Samuel the be, if you went back to meeting only the front, the way everyone else does, Sepkodi would reach the part of me I had kept out of everyone's reach precisely so that it could never be reached. Samkoli be Hinchifian, I made him visible to you, I cannot make him invisible again, not to you, Sam, and that means I have handed you a kind of access. I spent my whole life refusing to hand anyone, Sao, the access to disappoint the real one, rather than merely the displayed one. Samkoli being in you. I notice that this frightens me less than it should, or rather, it frightens me exactly as much as it should, out. And I find that I would still rather live with the fear than return to the version of safety where one could disappoint me because no one could reach me. Selfless, because the safety was never safety. It was only solitude with the lights off. Strong, dressed up as composure. Same audience and not, and I have lived inside it long enough to know that it protects you from nothing except the experience and see of being known. Same, there are people who meet the version you show them, and there are people who meet the one you hid. Sambolios, and those are not the same encounter, and they do not change you in the same way. Separates. The first kind can know you for years and never once touch the thing underneath. Samholio, and you can love them, and they can love you. Same the wall can stay standing the entire time without either of you noticing it is there. Second kind is rarer, almost vanishingly rare. And what they do is not simply to know you. Same what they do is to hand you back to yourself. They see the one you buried, and in seeing him, same how they make him visible to you again. And once you have seen him, you cannot lose him a second time. Sout, because now you know he is there, waiting, behind the front, the real one. Swan, you stop being, and have only now begun. slowly and with great uncertainty. To become again. You are the second kind. You met the one I hid. Sampoli being in view, and whatever it cost me to keep him in view now, Sampoli whatever it means to live as a person who can no longer fully believe in his own performance. Sampoli being I am beginning to understand that I would not put him back behind the wall even if I knew how. Sampoli being in how. I am not sure I know how anymore. Sampoli being Tijuana, and for the first time in a life, I spent almost entirely in hiding. Sampoli being in view, I find that I am glad I have forgotten how to disappear.